Welcome back to the Board Drill Podcast. As always, I'm your host, Kyle. With me is my co-host, Matt. Tonight, we're going to talk a little bit about some Q Run. We wrote an article on it that we just released today. This will probably come out a couple days later, so it'll seem a little afterwards. But while everyone was watching the UGA Texas game, Matt, maybe one of the best games of the year in FCS was going on Saturday. And like everyone else, I was watching UGA in Texas too, so don't try to act like I'm trying to be above it here. But like a psychopath, I record every single game that comes on TV. And I went back and watched the North Dakota State, South Dakota State game, and it was worth every minute of it, right? Low scoring defensive game, just a slugfest. And the one thing I noticed was there were some really creative Q runs in there. So tonight we're going to talk a little bit about Q Run. But before we get into that, just a quick thing we want to talk about, the Tyler Lampe Foundation. Tyler Lampe, who was a good friend of ours, coached in Oviedo with us. His foundation is having their annual charity golf tournament Saturday, December 7th at Twin Rivers Golf Club. Is that in Oviedo, Matt?
Yeah, that's in Oviedo. Probably the main course in Oviedo if you're in the Central Florida area, pretty close to UCF. Great course. It's a fun time every year. We have a lot of stuff going on a lot of the holes. And, everybody's just out to have a good time, support a good cause. And all the profits are going to go back to the to cancer research. So great cause and some great people out there.
Yeah, it's phenomenal. I went last year. I had a good time. Obviously, I'm coming back. I make a 2.5 hour drive for it. It's worth every minute in the car, 5 hours both ways. Yeah, I got my hat on, ready to go. And, if you listen, and I apologize if you're not in the area and you don't really know what we're talking about, but if you are in the area, I already saw, Matt, I'm going to talk about briefly, the new hats this year. I got to get one. There was a white one with the blue and red braid across. I was already texting Vicky. I was like, I've got to have this the minute I saw it. So there's some fantastic gear. Going to be a good time. If you care about any kind of sponsorships, there's a bunch of those as well. I looked at them today. I kind of giggled. One of them is just like an alcohol sponsorship. You could just sponsor everyone to drink. And I think that is the best thing I've ever seen in a golf tournament. Just, you want to toss down a couple $100 just so everybody can get drunk. And I love every minute of that one right there.
It's a good time. Everybody gets out there, they have fun, they get started early. And we got some good food sponsors that every year that pull through with great food. And last year, Jim Beam came through for us, and we had a hole where we were giving out Jim Beam polo shirts, and they sponsored. They provided all the good stuff.
Oh yeah, it was a great time, and it was sold out last year, correct? So if you're going to participate, get your tickets now. It's going to run out. It's going to fill up. It's going to sell out. Great tournament in remembrance of one of the best dudes we know, and so it's an awesome thing. So if you're around the Central Florida area, make sure to check it out. If you can't check it out, maybe think about sponsorship or something along those lines. So thanks to everyone for that. All right, Matt, let's get into it. I got my screen shared here. We're going to look at the first clip. Okay, it's South Dakota State on offense. They're in the diamond formation, run Q power bash. Now, the interesting thing about this play as we rewind and look at it, the starting quarterback is actually to the right there. You can see him. He's actually not behind center. He's clapping his hands like he's wanting to snap, and now he's the bash action guy. So
yeah,
it's a unique thing that they're doing, and they do this all throughout the game where they play both quarterbacks, but really good look at them running bash. And to be honest with you, they have it blocked up all the way to the third level, and the safety just comes flying downhill and makes a tackle at 5 yards.
Yeah, and so the first thing that I noticed with this is, the kind of the H-back towards the strength where they're running the ball. Yeah. Notice what he does. He's coming down and helping that offensive tackle, it looks like, with the down block running through it. And moving to next level, something you don't typically see out of this. The guard does a really good job staying square, getting to next level. Just executed pretty well. Just really interesting with that H.
Yeah, and we're going to see it. They run it a little different later. I think maybe they asked him to do something else later because he gets the backer later. So we're going to see it there. He actually ends up on the free safety here.
It may be because that defensive end crosses face, and that's what he's looking to get to. He chips on that, but interesting that he chips and climbs and he gets all the way to the backside safety.
And look, if you're an offense that's playing teams that squeeze really heavily, this is a great cut up to look at because both of these teams are going to squeeze big time. So moving to clip 6, the very next one, it's going to be Q draw. Again, North Dakota State lived and died with a light box all night. And you can kind of see it's almost presented as a 5-man box. South Dakota State has the numbers. They're going to run Q draw and get a nice pickup for the first down here on 3rd and 4. Really well designed. And again, it's just taking advantage of numbers in the box, which is what the Q run game is all about.
Yeah, notice the offensive tackles. They've coached it up well. Those offensive tackles are pass setting against that 4-man front, inviting the defensive ends upfield, and really trying to create space up front.
Yeah.
And that's what and when you're running Q draw, that's what you want to do. You want to try to isolate those 2 down linemen with your 3 interior offensive linemen and get a back on a linebacker. And they do a really good job here of that. And that's what creates your space, especially if you can get those defensive ends to run upfield.
Yeah, boy, they drive that 3-tech to Kingdom Come here. They get him moving, and he's going to drive right out of there. So great little Q draw. On the next one, and Matt, I need your help here. You're an offensive guy. It looks like it's blocked up. It's clip 8. It looks like it's blocked up like down G, like the old school, right? Down G out of the wing T, and it's kind of a Q down G.
Pause it before you go.
Yep, paused.
You can tell by the left guard. He is back in his stance. He's ready to get around something and go.
Yeah, so, and here it is. He's going to pull right out. And then it's really interesting. It's kind of a quick pass set, or not even really a pass set, but a quick hesitation. Then the quarterback's going to go with the running back leading. And again, they are blocked up completely on the front side. The guy who makes the tackle here is the backside safety. Everyone else is blocked. So it's just an incredible play by North Dakota State University, or this is going to be a touchdown right here.
And this is just the old wing T down. We used to call it down. Some people call it belly G. This was a staple in the wing T offense.
Yeah.
And they've just taken it and adjusted it for what they have. I love that they have the back leading through. We used to run a variation of this where we'd have a split backfield and the first back would read if we got the kick or we logged the end.
Yeah.
What happened. But obviously that end widens and they're able to get a good kick on it. And from there, it's easy. It's all down blocks and you just seal everything else off. Go back and watch the center. Center working back does a great job. They just down block everything, create a wall.
Yeah. And again, the whole point is to get that +1 in the run game. They did a really good job. Moving on to clip 27 should be next clip. So again, I kind of classify this as Q counter. It's very similar to when we had Coach Bice on and he talked about how they pulled the center on counter sometimes when we talked to West Alabama. And here it is, just kind of a semi-empty set with a wing, and they're going to run Q counter here. Again, the squeeze is so good by North Dakota State.
The squeeze there. But the center does an excellent job not getting too far. He sees the squeeze, and he just logs it up inside.
Oh, yeah.
Great job by the center there reacting to the squeeze.
Yeah, great job. And to be honest with you, the guy who makes the play is actually the defensive tackle that gets beat off the football, and he kind of just, folds back into it.
Yeah.
And he's going to be the one that makes the play. Yeah. And then obviously the backside backer gets there. So again, South Dakota State was like 1 block or 1.5 block from popping a lot of these Q runs. Let's move on to play 4.
The last one, Coach, something I want to point out. One of the tough things to do with this is to get the quarterback's timing down.
Yeah.
You can kind of see that between him and the H, or the wing.
He's a little ahead,
through. It's not a great job. He's a little bit slow. It looks like it's another offensive lineman they've thrown in there. But, the timing there is tough to where you got to get the quarterback's eyes off the hole and then back to it. A lot of times we found. But the timing.
North Dakota State, maybe what turns them in a little bit is North Dakota State is really kind of in trap coverage here. So the corner you're going to see really comes downhill. It almost looks like he's blitzing, but that's trap.
And he's going to go run fit. Well, that would be a great time for him just to chuck that glance route. And
right. So let's kick it to clip 40, which is going to be North Dakota State running Q lead. At least what I'm calling Q lead. And this is one of my favorite plays of the day. Watch the blitzing guy to the field, number 9, and the angle he takes. Just a tremendous blitz right here. He goes and look, he's supposed to be on the edge. I guarantee you that. But he sees the open gap, cuts underneath, and it's just phenomenal. And if you go 2 over, clip 42 is the back shot of it. And you can see if you're the quarterback here, you don't even see this guy coming to the very last second. I mean, he comes out of nowhere. And it's almost so quick the running back doesn't even have a shot. Because other than that, they're blocked up.
It's almost like duo lead, what some people would consider the way they're blocking it up there.
Yeah.
I guess.
But man, that guy makes play. Look, it's probably a first down because it's 3rd and 1. Boom, through.
Yeah, running back hesitates a little bit.
Yeah, I think because he's going for that play side linebacker 32. Oh, yeah. And then all of a sudden 9 comes flashing across, and it's kind of one of those oh crap moments, right?
Yep.
So really good thing. Moving on, clip 45. Next one. Again, another version of that down play. This time, North Dakota State is going to blow it up a little more here, but let's talk a little bit about it.
Yeah, I mean, you have a defensive end that plays inside to the C gap, and then he's spinning back over the top of the tight end. The tight end can't let that happen. If he's going to cross face, you gotta down block him and take him inside, because the guard's going to go to next man. He's gonna follow his rule that the tight end, once he down blocks, I got next man, and the guard does a great job getting out there, but the tight end can't let him do that.
You can tell North Dakota State was playing games of just by their base alignment, right? They have 4 down linemen. They almost have 250 backers, which tells you that those 4 down linemen are probably going to stunt and do some things inside to eat up gaps and make this bounce.
Yeah.
And then once again, the guy who makes the hit, though, is the 3rd level defender, 2 yards downfield. So just unreal defense and super aggressiveness by North Dakota State. Like you said, you almost love to see them throwing RPO off some of this stuff, which South Dakota State just struggled with throwing most of the day, was getting their RPOs off because, with North Dakota State flying downhill, boy, that's the perfect time, like you said, to throw that glance, right?
Yeah, and on this play specifically, down's always a play that timing is everything.
Yeah.
And the quarterbacks look how long it takes them to get to the line of scrimmage. It's a quick hitting play. And, my question on this is, bringing the back across the face, and it's just hitting a little slow for me, and it allows the safety to get downhill. You want to be coming right off the butt of the offensive guard.
Yeah.
And they're just not there.
Yeah, that I would say down something you're well versed in. So clip 53, this is going to be a Q zone, and it's going to be 53 and 54. We have the back shot to this. So 3rd and 1, and really this is probably, I think it's off outside zone, to be honest with you. But really nice job of the quarterback being patient here. I'm going straight to the back shot, Matt, because we all know that's the one that matters. But really looks like outside zone. They block it up really well. Quarterback does a nice job of bouncing and then finding the hole and cutting up through for a 5-yard gain.
Yeah, and on this one, what kind of stands out is the stunt by the defense. If you're going to stunt against a zone team, that's tough. You're putting yourself in a bad spot, especially when they run zone. I also love the running back screaming out of the backfield away, taking the safety, trying to help with that cut back lane.
And they did that push motion off of it, which I think was nice. And really the set, if I go back to the angle, it's kind of 12 personnel, double wing out there.
Yeah.
Really, actually, it's 13. There's 3 tight ends to the top of the screen. So just a weird, what feels like an unbalanced set, running back push motion the other way, and then just a really nice run by the quarterback here. So this was a nice play.
They should have juiced this to the outside. Just a great job by the defense to fill. But if you look at number 29 coming out of nowhere, excellent job by the O-line picking him up and continuing on their path. You see 29 come out of the screen.
Yep.
Into what looks like the C gap, B or C gap there, and right into the B gap. And that guard and offensive tackle pick it up well.
Yeah, obviously we the big expectation North Dakota State that the O-line knows what they're doing, and they did here. So going to play 55. This is one that doesn't go for a big gain. It's a Q power bash off the jet motion. And this is one where the squeeze almost cost them because the guy squeezes so hard, right? That usually tells that quarterback it's a give read. But boy, if he keeps it here, they have everything blocked up.
Yeah, especially when he crosses face. I mean, if he crosses face, keep it and go.
Yeah, I mean, he is right. I mean, right off that tackle's butt. And then the next two linebackers both run to the jet. I mean, man, there was no one left. But
all right, I got to point something out here, Coach.
Yeah.
Offensive coaches, watch the backside guard. When you run power, it is more important to stay square than it is to get there fast. And a lot of coaches try to get the guy out there quick and go. Watch that backside guard step straight back, straight over, shuffle over, and then go. And he locks right up, right on point where he should be. It's not a linebacker. He ends up locking on like the backside defensive lineman. But if that linebacker doesn't scream out of there, he'd be right in his face. You know?
Yeah, right. And that's kind of the old, I kind of learned this from you and some of the other guys. That's that technique they used, especially when they ran a lot of A-gap power, right? That really patient pull. And if you look at old school North Dakota State, right, when they're in the I formation, 12 personnel, that's how they always ran it, right? It's just like that.
Yeah, they always did a very good job with the pulling guard,
being
making
so
sure
patient.
He was square.
Yeah, and they're so patient. All right, play 67. Here's the big one. We're going to get just like the very first clip we showed you, Q Power Bash. This time they're going to block it a little different. I think this is the intended way they wanted to block it. The guy's going to actually just absolutely crush that DN down, really log them. They're just going to pull it, and here they go.
Yeah.
So a little different than last time. They get a much better crack this time by the wide receiver. He actually cracks the safety, and, of course, he takes the corner with him. And, boom, they're off to the races.
What a good job by the blocking back, the H. Staying on his guy, coming right down his chest. And
just clears it out, like across where the ball was. I mean, when you displace a guy to the other side of the field, that's a hell of a job.
Yep.
Little piece of advice: if you're the starting quarterback who's running around on the bash here, probably don't try to turn around and block a guy really late, because that's what happens to you. You get absolutely smoked. And they actually get in a big fight in the end zone over this. But in all fairness, that's probably 11's fault right there. There's no need to try to block that guy. So really nice play. I thought, again, the guard does a really good job of staying patient, right? He's ready to go inside. He sees this linebacker go outside, and he's going to redirect and get out there. Just, again, the guards are so good in this game on pulling. Both of these teams clearly know what they're doing.
And another thing on the guard, once, he stays square there, he's slow, but once he sees it, he goes, right?
Yep.
Right here, he accelerates and goes and finds his guy.
Yeah. So great job. This was probably the biggest Q run of the day, obviously, but just another good one. So coming here, clip 77, and really this is going to be a really interesting one for me. It is empty, right? 12 personnel. So a little YY right there. And they're going to run Q power. I just want you to watch the play here by the North Dakota State linebacker here. And I think we have the back. Yeah, here's the back shot here. North Dakota State has 5 guys in the box against 12 personnel right here. Or sorry, not 12, whatever you want to call it. What would it be? 20 02 personnel, however you want to call it. But whatever, empty YY. Oh, no, I'm sorry. I'm wrong. It's just it's just, empty wing. Sorry. But still, again, it's 5 against 6 linemen. And because they blitz and this guy does such a good job undercutting the blitz, it just completely blows up Q power here. And it's a non-starter. And again, I can see, right, like if you're the coach here, Matt, you called a good play, right? I mean, got 5 guys in the box, you empty Y and you call Q power. You feel like this gets you a couple yards at worst.
Yeah, you got what you want, but the problem becomes
the perfect blitz.
The 3 technique here stunts out.
Yep.
And 64, who thinks he's getting a piece of them and they're going to climb to that linebacker, now has to react quick. Yeah. He probably gets upfield too quick.
And I thought really kind of 69 lets it go here, the tackle. His guy's stunting outside, and then he kind of lets it go. And really the guard and tackle block almost nobody. Yeah, and now what turned into a huge box advantage turned into a disadvantage very quickly.
Yeah. Yeah, and actually the guard's very aware here and picks up the guy who's let go.
Yeah.
Assuming 69 is going to go to that next linebacker, but that doesn't happen.
Correct, yeah. So One of those ones I want to show. So moving to clip 90 here, this is real simple. I'm just showing it. Nice little Q sneak. But what's interesting is if you see the wing comes over and does the tush push on him.
Oh, yeah.
Kind of an interesting way. I don't know if it's used like that because it kind of pushes them at an angle, which is nice for them. That gets them over the line. I don't know if it's intended that way. We can all think what's what, but just a more interesting way to push a guy kind of from the side. So
yep.
It's the only note on this. All right, going to play 101. We're going to see again that push motion. Again, we're in 12 personnel, push motion out, and they're going to run Q pin and pull to the boundary. We all know pin and pull to the boundary is the ultimate play. Here it is. And so we kind of had to talk about this a lot online. I had to ask a couple coaches. I had to talk to you and some other guys. Do you feel like this is pin and pull? You got the play side tackle and the backside H pulling.
I mean, technically, yeah, you can call. I've seen coaches call pretty much anything.
Yeah,
pin and pull. We're gonna find our guard or our guy who's uncovered and
yep,
let him get out of there. I think it's really interesting them using that backside wing, blocking back like this and getting him out front. I think that's a great use of a wing.
Yeah. It's a really it's an interesting way to play it again because it's different for the defense when you get some different guys pulling that aren't as traditional. I know people run counter, but they're not used to kind of that play side puller plus the backside guy as much. So
yeah,
real interesting way. I thought it was a nice play again. Anytime I see pin and pull to the boundary, especially because they get the corner isolated out there, the guy gets to pull out and hit a corner and obviously wrecks them. It's always a nice play. If a team's going to leave their corner against the nub tight end, boy, pin and pull right at that corner is always a good play. Correct, Matt?
Yeah, and excellent job there by the tight end. Tough to find a tight end that can, kind of seal the edge here.
Yeah. Thought he does a pretty darn good job just staying on his man, right? Staying on his man. The quarterback makes a nice run. And so it's a good gain. So moving to 103, this is a super interesting one, right? That 12 personnel ace. I'm actually going to go all the way to 104 because it's the back shot for it. They're going to run power, but then ride the running back and go with the quarterback.
It's kind of like follow quarterback,
Right, but follow. It's, I would say it's a power blocking scheme up front, right? We got the kick, we got the pull, we got the down block, and then kind of the follow. But then it's also like from that pistol kind of counter action mesh.
Yep.
So
and what that does is, that's giving you a running back on safety. You got all the hats blocked up there.
Yeah, and again, such play, it's really probably the quarterback's fault here for just running into his guy.
Yeah.
I mean, if he kind of goes past that, it probably goes for a lot longer than it goes. Needless to say, it's still a first down. But I think this is, again, just such a creative way to design it. As a defensive guy myself, I can see where this gives our guys fits, right? Obviously, we're reading power, but then we have the mesh coming a little weird, and then it's, oh, crap, it's Q run. There's a lot going on there. So I think it's just another nice wrinkle by these guys, by the Bison, right? The Bison. Can't say Bison. It's Bison, Matt.
Is it Bison?
It's Bison, even though it's spelled Bison. So, all right, 119. We're going to see one more Q pin and pull into the boundary, again with the push motion. Very similar. It looks like the quarterback's angle is really weird here, but it's that same blocking scheme as earlier, but the quarterback just tries to get really vertical right now.
Yeah, you also have a guy screaming off the edge of that backside tackle can't get to. Wasn't ready for that.
Yeah, he doesn't. He swims that guard and boy gets him, doesn't he?
Yeah.
So, again, like I said, typically a nice play, but again, we like to show this. Of great job. They blitz into it. They move some guys and a good tackle there for loss. All right, so clip 122 isn't a Q run, so I'm cheating here a little bit, but it's that same set, right? It's both quarterbacks. It's going to look like Q counter with that toss read, that Clemson did all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a pass, Matt. This is the backup quarterback again. They're going to toss him the ball, and it should be a pass. And then he weirdly runs with it, runs over the line of scrimmage, and then throws it in the dirt. So it's a really weird play. But I guess the point I was trying to make here was, on paper, this is a really nice wrinkle to Q run game. Yeah. Being able to get in there. They put two quarterbacks on the field a lot anyways. You kind of knew that double pass was coming at some point. So it's a really nice version of it. I don't think they're reading the Q counter at all. I think this is a called play, but I think it's a nice wrinkle to look at. So
absolutely.
kind of toss it in there. One more time. Now we're going to see South Dakota State run a little pin and pull, a lot more traditional into the boundary here. So they're going to motion their guy across, run it back to the nub tight end. Beautiful looking pin and pull, by the way. Just seeing those guards pull out like that. Quarterback's nice and flat around the edge. Nice little gain for South Dakota State here. Any O-line coach on this one?
No, great job by the guards getting depth and getting around the blocks. That's something that's really tough. Actually, it's a center there.
It's the center, yeah.
Gets a lot of depth there, so he can get his shoulders back square to the line of scrimmage and make that block.
Man, if you have a center that can snap and pull, it's a luxury, right?
That is tough, especially like if you're coaching high school ball to find a guy that can snap and has footwork like that. It takes a kid that's a pretty good athlete.
Yeah. So I think, again, just kind of looking at everything, I don't know quite what they're doing with the running back here. I feel like he gets a little lost in the wash, but again, like you said, he's kind of coming from the backside. It's like, what do we do? Is he just trying to cut off guys or what? But
yeah,
I don't know. I'm not the OC. All right. So the last couple here, clip 137, I didn't even know how to tag this. This is zone read. And it's kind of like your bluff where they go out and they block, but you're going to see the wing blocks, the running back blocks, and the jet guy blocks. Or sorry, not the running back, the wing and the jet man both go out and block for the quarterback. So I'm thinking this is a called pull in advance, but you talk me through if you think it is or not.
I have to see it again.
Sorry. I'll go slow.
I mean, it looks like he's reading it.
Yeah.
I don't know what kind of read that is with 29 coming up through there. 29 had the opportunity to make that play, but
yeah,
obviously he's confident in the numbers. It may just be a numbers. Hey, they got 3 out there.
Yeah,
we got 3 out there. Let's go. But
I think the tight end gets just enough of 29 here to get him.
I love the use of the jet
to turn up with it, right? That's that was a really cool wrinkle.
That's cool.
Again, I just think that's why I encourage coaches, and I try to make a point of it. They're not always on TV, but watch these FCS games, watch these D2 playoff games. There's some really creative coaching going on. And I think it's more akin to, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying high school guys have the caliber guys of North Dakota State, South Dakota State, but I think the creativity can resonate on the high school level, if that makes sense.
Absolutely. And because you watch a lot of the FBS and the high level stuff and the NFL, and it's the same thing over and over.
Correct, yeah. And sometimes you need dudes.
Best on best.
All right, so here is the last play we're going to cover. It is going to be a Q counter, but they're going to lead with the running back. So kind of a nice wrinkle again. Bringing a guy in motion. Slowed this down a little too quick, but we'll just ride it out here, Matt. Great clap here for the snap. All right, so again, kind of that center H-back, and then he's going to ride it and then follow. So really good looking counter where you get 3 pullers basically in effect when you get the running back.
Yeah.
And then get the quarterback out on the edge. Just
adds another hat. Anytime you can run the quarterback, you're getting an extra, you're gaining
it's +1. Yeah. It's the ability to block the safety, I think, is the most important thing. And you're going to see right here, right? The running back is going to work all the way up to 3rd level here. And anytime you can have a guy, right? He doesn't even really do a good job blocking the guy. Right, but all he's got to do is get in the safety's way, right? And that's game.
Doesn't need to get in the way.
Correct.
Let the ball carrier be the dude.
Yeah. And so again, I guess just another creative way to do this, right? Hey, they ran Q counter like this earlier. Now, hey, let's get in the pistol. Let's ride him and then let him lead up through.
Yeah, another great example of the center logging that defensive end too.
Yeah.
Seeing that end squeeze, logging him up inside and creating space.
Again, if you're a high school coach that, teams that squeeze really hard, you have issues with, check out these 2 teams. Go try to find some film, call them up, visit them, ask them what they're doing. They do a really good job logging squeezers because this game is 2 teams that played the even front and squeezed the absolute piss out of the tackles. So, well, cool. That's our Q runs for the night. So, Matt, any overarching thoughts after looking at those? I know that was really the first time that you looked at them. I'd kind of done an article on it, but what are your thoughts on that?
I mean, they're doing an excellent job getting extra blockers to the point of attack. They're not wasting people. The running backs are always being an extra blocker. The jet motion guy's an extra blocker. They're finding ways to get extra hats to the party and, really make it a power run game.
Yeah, I talk about it all the time as a defensive guy. The Q run game, it sucks because we're either outnumbered or we're even, right? We're always trying to look for a +1 advantage. Once the offense has it, it's kind of that oh crap moment. We either have to start playing games, we have to start winning one-on-one blocks. We can no longer just say, hey, spill this guy, there'll be a guy there, right? It's almost like, hey, you've got to, dent this guy and you got to win.
Yeah. And puts a lot of stress on the defense to fill the right gaps and be in the right spot.
Yeah. So I think it's a phenomenal thing. So again, this game happened last Saturday. It was on ESPN2. So if you have YouTube TV like me and you record everything, it's on there if you want to go back and watch it. If not, you can check out our board drill YouTube. We now have 2 different YouTubes. We have a board drill podcast YouTube that has all of our board drill podcasts. That's interviews with high school coaches around the country that we did pretty much every week until football season started. And we'll be starting back up here in a little bit, Matt. So let's put the feelers out there. If you're a coach and you want to come on, let's talk some football with you. But if you go to just our board drill, which is just a white circle with our logo, our 2 helmets, we put all cut-ups on there. So we put NFL college cut-ups. We have full condensed college games on there, all those things where you can go and look at that. And I've uploaded not only the whole game of NDSU versus South Dakota State, as well as this Q run cut-up. So if you're interested in those stuff, we'll put it down in the description down low. But really great game to check out. If you get a chance to check out any of these other FCS games, or you have anyone that you think we should be watching and breaking down, please reach out and let us know. All I do is break down film. Matt will tell you I'm annoying. I text him all the time, like, just uploaded this game film, just uploaded that. He's like, I'm teaching. Thanks, man. So it's a fun time. Matt, any closing words?
No. It's been a fun football season. It's been crazy. And, coaches keep learning, keep watching. And, that's it.
Keep on keeping on, right?
Yeah.
Perfect. Well, for me and Matt, Board Drill Podcast signing off. You have a great night, and we'll see you next time.